First of all, I'll be handling Castlevania Advance Collection by each game, starting from Circle of the Moon. After the Circle of the Moon, I'll continue with Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and then Vampire's Kiss, since each game deserves a separate review in my opinion. Or I'm just being a Castlevania fan here and giving a special treatment to this remastered collection. Since this will be the first Castlevania review on my channel, more will soon to come, so stay tuned. I'm itching for some more. Anyways, Castlevania Advance Collection was launched for all last-gen platforms including PC on September 23rd and has 3 Castlevania games made for Game Boy Advance plus Vampire Kiss from SNES. I played the whole bundle on my Nintendo Switch first when it was launched back then. Now once again, I'm playing it on my Xbox Series X, starting from Circle of the Moon. I wanted to compare with my feelings from September and now, testing this game's replayability and giving more accurate review. And this worked for Circle of the Moon, positively. Circle of the Moon, launched for Game Boy Advance in 2001, is the first Castlevania game launched also for Game Boy Advance, right after the classic Symphony of the Night. As fundamentals, it has both classic Castlevania gameplay and the Metroidvania level design and progress that Symphony of the Night brought. I don't know why, though I'm not criticizing, this time the main character is not a Belmont, but rather this Nathan dude who enters Dracula's castle with his mentor Morris and his friend Hugh. Hugh is Morris' son, and Nathan and Hugh both receive this vampire hunter training from Morris. As you can guess, we are the superior apprentice. A vampire called Camilla revives Dracula, and Dracula captures Morris right at the beginning, sending Nathan and Hugh to the depths of his own castle. The story is quite weak, definitely way weaker than Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow, but somehow you don't care. You are here to whip some skeletons, monsters and spirits, and collect some trading Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Wait, what? Circle of the Moon has this DSS system, a gameplay mechanic which can only be found by the Circle of the Moon, which deepens the gameplay mechanic, or rather to be said, creates an illusion from a different view. Unique to this game, you literally gather these cards by slaying monsters. This allows players to cast abilities via combinations of 2 different magic cards, one action card and one attribute card. Each action card buffs a different aspect of Nathan, as whip enhancement card Mercury, some buffs your attributes, some gives a flying both defensive and offensive orb, and some grants you ability to summon a familiar. For example, the Mercury card, action card with the power of whip enhancement, with the Salamander card, attribute card with power of fire, obtaining a fire elemental whip attack as a result. By this, you can understand the Salamander card always grants a fire elemental boost to Nathan, giving you a space to experiment with different action cards. Each of these cards drop by certain enemies, with a probability based on the player's character's luck statistic, thus adding another search element. Use of DSS cards drains the player's MP also. As you can guess from here, using these DSS cards is a must. By my previous playthrough on Switch, I wanted to try playing this game without using any of these cards. And I can say that I pushed my way until Camilla's boss fight. Camilla boss fight specifically requires a heavy skill or high level if you don't use these DSS cards. Luckily by then, I had this poison fumes card combination, which makes Nathan spread poisonous fluid around him, damaging whatever's close to me. This destroyed Camilla and helped me to reach the last boss later on. But this time, starting from scratch, I grinded my way towards the halls of Dracula's castle, killing enemies until they dropped the card and moved on. This, of course, increased the game's length, provided me an easier gameplay experience, but yet again, helped nothing by the end boss, since the end boss of Circle of the Moon is a total bitch. I'm serious, Circle of the Moon's last boss, second phase, is a total bitch. There is no way, not a single way to defeat him until you cheese the game. My way of cheesing it is to launch Nathan high up in the air, waiting for the boss to turn into this eyeball creature and then send my eagle familiar to damage it, since there is no way to heal yourself but to use potions. And let me tell you from the start, there is no shop in this game. Potions, armors, accessories, all of these items drop from enemies depending on your luck stat, which is once again leads to grinding. So without any grinding but as a harder way, game takes about 3 or 4 hours, But if you grind cards and do more calmer, safer playthrough by discovery, I finished the game around 7 hours. You can understand that Circle of the Moon is a quite short Castlevania experience, which becomes longer if you want to see more gameplay mechanics and cool stuff, and especially some cool familiars to summon. So the main question, does it worth it? I mean, you might end up stuck on a boss fight at some point, leading you to go way back and grind for some more experience or cards, which is not fun at all. But on the other hand, as being the first Game Boy Advance Castlevania game, Circle of the Moon has its flaws of not being fair and grindy. Further games like Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow don't have this problem, so obviously Circle of the Moon suffers from being the first Castlevania game for Game Boy Advance. Although Circle of the Moon has its flaws, to be honest, I like its pixel art, the music and the ambience. Feels more of a chill Castlevania experience in my opinion. It's nowhere near my favorite Castlevania games, but this time I find it better than I first played on Nintendo Switch. Clash between Nathan and Hugh could have been better, bosses could have been more challenging, rather frustrating or unfair. Circle of the Moon has its own flaws, but yet again, proves a fun experience for anyone who is interested in Castlevania series. Though I wouldn't recommend Circle of the Moon for any newcomers for the series. Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow has more this Castlevania feeling and atmosphere within. And of course, none game can surpass Symphony of the Night, and I'm not joking. Aria of Sorrow is kinda close, but not surpassing. With its DSS system, Circle of the Moon ends up as a unique game. Not only as a Castlevania game, but also as an action platformer where the player experiments with different elements and cards to find the best gameplay method for its suiting playstyle. Some might choose more defensive gameplay, and some may choose rather offensive, going all for attack and relies on dodges. But don't forget, if you are playing a Castlevania game that's developed after Symphony of the Night, always, and I mean always, find a way to increase your luck attribute to shorten the grind and get some sweet equipment. It's a mandatory if you wanna enjoy these games, and Circle of the Moon is not different. Heed my words. Circle of the Moon, being the first Castlevania game on GBA, deserves attention. It's not the best, but also not the worst. Definitely among the mid tier. Might be around B- or B if I were to make a Castlevania games tier. Due to its DSS system, it also has a replayability, but nowhere close to the future Castlevania games like Aria of Sorrow or Symphony of the Night. It's fun, but also its dependency on grind can make players to lose their patience, as grinding can turn into a chore quite quickly. It has its flaws, but also by having this unique gameplay element, it is worth its attention.